Hello and welcome back to the workshop. Today I have another little disassembly video for you. So we are going to take out and upgrade a barrel assembly. Now this is the upper receiver from a Tokyo Marui M4 SOP mod. As you can see, we've taken the front A-frame sight off, but everything else is exactly as it comes from Tokyo Marui. Now, once you've split the two receivers by pushing out the pin, releasing the charging handle latch, and then sliding the two halves apart, you will get to this stage here. So the first thing you'll notice is that we have this little spacer here. Now this wasn't present in some of the older models, but everything for the last year and a half or so has had this little spacer. So the way we pull that out is simply turn the hop chamber towards us, and that pops out nicely. Has a little notch there that fits into this little notch just in here, and then it's doing my job for me. Then the barrel simply slides out. Now we're just going to set this to one side nice and safely. So we have our barrel assembly, and I'm going to show you just how to completely disassemble this whole hop chamber, just so you guys know how it all fits together. And if you do happen to break the stock hop chamber anyhow, you can use this video to figure out how to put it all back together with a new body if that's required. Now the only upgrade or replacement body I recommend that isn't Tokyo Marui would be the WiiTech chamber, the WII-Tech chamber, TECH. Don't bother with the Lonex ones. I've never been impressed with those. They don't quite fit properly, they don't feed properly, bits are too small, other bits are too large. They're just not made to spec. But the WiiTech ones are lovely. You do have to do a little bit of modification to get them in 416. A little bit of sanding back of the kind of wings on the side, but should be a drop-in fit for an M4. So the first thing we're going to do is take the C-clip off. Now the barrel retention clip is pretty easy. We just see if we can get that. There you go. We're just going to push it off on one side, and that just slides off nicely. Bob's your uncle. Let's just take the spring off. That helps. That pushes the hop chamber back against the gearbox shell. Now comes the hard part. Just make sure it's turned all the way off based on the arrow just there. So all the way off. Now you can use a heat gun to heat up I don't know what to call it, retention agent. Tokyo Marui put a little something on the outside of their hop rubbers and a little bit on the inside on the end to help seal this nice and tightly. It's like a mild kind of RTV cement, room temperature vulcanizing cement. And it makes taking this hop chamber apart, taking the barrel out at least the first time, a little bit challenging. So we're just going to go slowly. And now this one's not being too bad. Sometimes they can really stick in there, in which case you've got to hold this end part here and not pull from the body. You've got to hold this end part, otherwise it'll snap just along the top here. So there we go. That's come out without much fuss, actually. Now you can see this kind of cloudy stuff here. That is some of the sealant or whatever it is they're using to hold this all in place. That is that's the remains of it there. So we'll take off our hop rubber, and now we are going to disassemble the rest of the chamber. So we can push out our arm pin. There we go. Oop, pinged away to the side. Just gonna give it a little tap, and the actual hop arm itself will come out. Now the 417 and the Scar H have a secondary nub, like a hard nub that is held in vertical channels, whereas the M4, 416 and so on just have the arm and then your standard cylindrical rubber nub. The Scar H and 417 have this cylindrical nub just underneath the secondary nub. So now we're pretty much done. The last part is these two clips here. So when you're looking at the chamber like this, top and bottom from this side, we can simply kind of pry them apart slightly, and it all comes apart nicely. So we've just got these two little clips here, just like that, the two halves. There we go. And the last thing to come off is the actual adjustment wheel itself. So this is the chamber, and it has a little bit of oil on, which is good. Helps keep everything nice and smooth. So if you ever do break one of these and can't get an original Tokyo Marui replacement, which I would recommend, I haven't seen any improvements whatsoever by any of the upgraded chambers. There's not really much that they can offer, to be honest. So if you can't get a replacement one of these and it's broken for whatever reason, then the WeTech chamber is the way to go. And now let's chuck it all back together. So first things first, adjustment wheel on. Now we're going to put the side with the clips on first. That just sits on the back, and there's a little locating kind of pin in there with a corresponding hole. So that goes on first. This side has our two little wire routing prongs for holding the wires in place on any front wired recoils, so the SOCOM, and that just clips in on that side, and that gives us our nice clicky effect with the hop wheel. There we go. Now I'm not going to install the hop arm quite yet because we are going to be installing an EdGI barrel. So we have our shiny EdGI barrel. I'm not quite sure if I have enough space to show you guys the inside, but I do have another shorter one up here. So this is a little pistol barrel. I've started R-hopping this. Let's see if you guys can see down the middle there. Let's just get a bit of paper with maybe something to reflect. There we go. So these EdGI barrels are lapped to an absolute mirror finish. They are perfect inside. They are the highest quality kind of commercial barrels that money can buy, and I highly recommend them for the recoils. There isn't really much point in upgrading the Tokyo Marui barrel unless you're going for something, you know, properly good. The Tokyo Marui barrels are really excellent. So yeah, not really worth upgrading unless you're going to do it properly. Now we are going to put a Prometheus Purple onto the EdGI barrel and into our hop chamber. Now where are my scissors? Up on the wall. There we go. So let's cut our packaging open. And we are going to use the nub for the Prometheus Purple bucking here. Bucking, hop rubber, just different words for the same thing. People call different bits slightly different names. We usually call this a hop rubber in the UK. It's generally called a bucking over in the States. Doesn't really matter. Now what we're going to do is just cut maybe 2 to 3 mil off the end, just a little sliver like that, because these are quite a tight fit in the Marui chambers. When you put them in, they do tend to stretch out just slightly, just a mil or two, and this will stop it kind of moving and stretching in the way of our retention clip. So now match up the locating kind of groove on the bottom, chuck it on all the way, and now the most important part for reassembling this, we're going to use some liquid silicone oil. This is kind of a medium viscosity pure liquid silicone oil. Going to put a drop on the outside, cover it all the way around, and then we're going to put a drop or two on the inside here, and use our cotton swab just to wipe that oil all the way around. You do need to oil both sides in order to get this in properly, and then just slides in nicely, really easily like that. And yep, I can't show you here because the barrel's too long, but the lips are all nice and perfect. Yeah, just too long, sorry, the camera's too low. I can't quite get this this long barrel in there. But the lips are all nice, and yeah, it's time to put our retention clip on. So retention clip on, barrel is correctly aligned, and now we can put our nub in place. So nub goes in just like that, halfway along the window, and then our hop arm goes in the top, so it slots into the groove in the adjustment wheel, and then it pins in from the right hand side, this top side. There we go. All nice and easy. So we'll put our spring in place, and lastly, let's chuck it back into our receiver. So I'm just going to rotate the chamber on its side, slide it in, and we're going to put it almost all the way around, not quite all the way. We're going to have it up at a kind of 30-degree angle like that. Take our hop clip like this, and then that just, see if I can get this in the light for you guys. That just clips in place like that, and then slides on. And that's all there is to it. So hopefully this has been useful for you guys. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. If this was useful to you, chuck us a wee like. And if you'd like to see more videos, tech videos, reviews, anything like that, then chuck a wee subscribe my way and we'll get more videos up on the tubes for you. See you next time.